Okay, we are live. We are going to talk about macro education. Super excited. I love talking about this section. It is a most misunderstood section. In your macronutrients, okay, we shorten it up for macro, but it's macronutrients. There are three macronutrients. They're the only three things you're going to get calories from. I will tell you, you'll get calories from alcohol, but we're not here to talk about alcohol. We are here to talk about nutrition, and there are only three things that will give you calories. That is carb, fat, and protein. Carbohydrates are 4 calories per gram, fat is 9 calories per gram, and protein is 4 calories per gram. So, what I want you to remember is this. If you look on the back of the package and it says that it has 30 grams of carbohydrate, that means it has 120 calories of carbohydrate because 30 grams times 4 calories per gram is 120. Same with fat. If it's got 5 grams of fat, 5 times 9 is 45. Okay, so it's 45 calories of fat. All right, same with protein. We're going to scoot on down here to the 11 to 14 calories per pound of ideal body weight. Everybody's starting out is we're going to make this super simple. We're not going to use the long calculations. We're not going to get really complicated. We are going to take your ideal body weight and we are going to multiply it by a number between 11 and 14. Okay, this is how you're going to get started. So if we take a 150-pound person, okay, if they go to the end of the scale at 11 calories, it's going to be 1650 that they eat per day, 1650 calories per day that they're going to take in calories. If that person went to the top at 14, it would be 2100 calories that they would be taking in. If that person was a super active person, we're going to make sure that they're at about 16 calories per pound of ideal body weight, which would be 2400 calories. Okay. I personally am 160 pounds, but I'm going to show you my calories. Okay. This is my calendar from the month of April. As you can see, the first week I was very low on protein and a little bit lower on calories. What I do is every day I write my total calories and my total protein grams. Okay. I like to see my protein in grams, but I like to see the calorie total for the day, the total calorie total, not all three macros. Okay. So then at the end of the week, I take all 7 numbers, I total it up, and I divide by 7 to see what my average for the week was. So in week 1, my average daily intake of calories was 2,049 calories. Okay. On week 2, my average caloric intake was 2,180 calories, and so on. I did the same thing for the protein. So the number you see here, 114, 147, 153, and 171, those are average protein grams per day. Those grams are part of those calorie totals that you see. I am going to highly recommend that you do the same thing. Grab yourself a paper calendar and do the same thing. It does wonders for the eyes. It helps your mind comprehend what's going on. And you also get to see the daily picture, the weekly picture, and the monthly picture. So I really should have went on this calendar and did the month, like what was my average for the month. That's not as important as it is going by the week, but it's very interesting to watch. Okay. Again, I want to also point out that your daily calories should and can and should vary by the week. Okay. So if you look, I don't just eat 2,200 calories every single day. I might eat 1,800. I might eat 2,600. Okay. You'll see I ate 2,600 calories there on a Tuesday. Then I go back down to 2,000. So I range all week long. I range. I do not eat the same amount every day. I would gain weight if I did because some days I'm hungrier than others. Some days I've worked harder than others. We need to make sure we're fueling for activity. And that is something you're going to learn as you go through this program. Okay. What is BMR? Basal metabolic rate, or some people call it the resting metabolic rate. This is the amount of calories you will burn if you laid in bed all day long. Okay. Hard to believe that you might burn 1,400 calories laying in bed, but you likely will. My BMR ranges from 1,350 to 1,450 all year long. On weeks that I might be training harder on my bike and hiking, I have been up to as high as 1,650 calories per day as a BMR. That means that's my basic. I need that to survive in bed. Okay. We're going to talk now about the 3 macros and why do we need them? Okay. There's only 3 macros. You really need all 3 to be an optimal active person. Okay. So let's remember, we're talking about being active here. You're here because you want to be active, you want to be strong, and you want to drop body fat. Okay. Carbohydrates are the main source of fuel for our bodies. They always have been, and they always will be. I don't want you to take them away. Okay. I want you to learn how to eat carbohydrate properly. It is not as complicated as it sounds. But carbs are easy for the body to process. We know this because it is kind of went in the wrong direction for a lot of people. But if you eat your carbs around your activity, I promise you it will help you be optimal. Your body will be optimal. You will be powerful and you will grow muscle. Okay. Carbs are also needed by your central nervous system. This is super important. In order to think clearly, you've got to have some carbohydrate. Your body needs easy access to energy. Okay. We do need it for our brain and our muscles to function properly. Our muscles cannot function without carbohydrate. They can't. I don't care what anybody tells you. They are meant to store carbohydrate for energy. That's why we have muscle. Fat. Fat is needed for normal growth and development. Just want to remind you that your cell walls are made of fat. Fat also supplies a concentrated source of energy. It maintains your cell membranes. So your cell is made out of fat. It is going to be replaced by the fats we eat. So we want to eat healthy fats, okay? Fat in the foods is also needed to absorb fat-soluble vitamins, okay? And the one thing we love about fat is it provides satiety. It really does. It can help us feel full and satiated. Protein, here's the important one that we are not getting enough of. Protein is needed for normal growth and repair, okay? Especially after a workout. And sometimes for 48 hours after a workout, we really need to be focused on what's going in our mouth and in what we're consuming. Protein is needed for immune function. Protein is actually the fuel for your immune system. So if you've ever watched someone get real ill, maybe stay in the hospital and they get real thin, they're losing muscle mass because their immune system is fighting so hard. So if you're built up with a lot of muscle, you're going to have a great big bank deposit in case you were to ever get sick. Okay. Essential hormones and enzymes are made from protein. So if you're not getting enough protein, how can you have normal functioning hormones? I hear women say this all the time. I think my hormones are messed up. I think my hormones are messed up. Well, they are if you're not eating enough protein, let alone enough calories. Okay. You have to remember that in order for our body to function well, we've got to get the nutrients from food. Protein is also used for energy when there are no carbs available. I'm going to give you a perfect example of this. When I watch people work out really hard lifting weights, or maybe they're running, or maybe they're doing some really high activity like a HIIT workout, and then they think they should not eat. Okay. Let me tell you that the first 10 minutes when you're done with a hard workout, your body has already started absorbing like a sponge anything that it can get its hands on. If you do not feed it, even if it's 50 to 100 calories, if you do not feed it, it will eat of its own muscle. It's the fact. It's the way it goes. Okay. So how much of each macro do you need? The first step is you're going to determine how many total calories you need. And I want you to get that out, write that down, pause this video, write down what you think your total calories on average every day should be. Step 2 is from that total, you're going to subtract your protein in gram calories, or in your protein grams as calories. So step 3, you're going to calculate your fat grams, and then you're going to, whatever's left is going to be your carbs. So I'm going to run through this example with you so that you can see it a little easier. Okay. You're going to have access to the sheets. You can print it out and you can look at it every day and really get familiar with it. Okay. So for example, if I need 2,100 calories per day, I'm 150 pounds. So I'm going to subtract 600 calories. 600 calories comes from the fact that I'm 150 pounds. And that's times four calories per gram, because I'm going to get 150 grams of protein because I'm 150 pounds. Okay. That leaves 1,500 calories that I can divide up between fat and carbohydrate. All right. I'm sorry. Yeah, I did that wrong, didn't I? I will go in and correct that before I post this for you. Yes, we just took out the protein. So that should say for fat and carbohydrate. I made a little mistake there. I will fix that. Oh, I wish I could fix that for you right now, but we're going to move on. I'm going to fix it later. I personally tend to do well with 70 grams of fat per day. We want to average that anywhere from 60, 70, or 80 grams of fat per day. That's a pretty safe level for just about everybody, depending on either how big you are or how small you are, your body frames. I like about the 70-ish range. I do well. That is going to equal 630 calories because every gram of fat is 9 calories per gram. So I'm going to take that 1,500 calories here, and I'm going to subtract my 630 of fat. That's going to leave me 870 calories left, okay? So now I've subtracted my protein, I've subtracted my fat calories, I have 870 calories left. If you divide that by 4, because that's how many carbohydrates are, that means I have to eat, or I have left to eat, 217 grams of carbohydrate. I have written it right here in a nice little equation, which is much easier to see. So that means I'm getting 600 calories of protein, 630 calories of fat, and 870 calories of carbohydrate. That equals 2,100 calories a day. And that's what I set up here. I decided that I needed 2,100 calories per day. So every day I'm going to aim for that. Okay. I don't want you to work super hard at this for the first couple weeks. All I'm going to have you do is logging your total calories and just be looking, just glance. The only thing I want you to focus on is your protein for the first 2 to 3 weeks. Okay. We're going to start really paying attention here in week 3 though. Okay. So approximating is okay. Do not stress over about being exact. Do not. If you end your day at 2,500 calories, don't stress over it. This is just information, okay? If you end your day at 1,500, don't stress over it. This is just information. We're going to work on this as we go. We have lots of weeks to work on this. So with that said, I'm going to go back. I'm going to correct that before I post it inside the group. And I want to make sure that if you have any questions, you let me know. That's going to be super important.